Good morning and welcome to Onward in Love and Caregiving. I'm Greg Johnson. I'm the president and CEO of GJP International. That's Greg Johnson Partnerships International. And here in New York, I have the great privilege of serving as the chief advisor to the CEO of Emblem Health for family caregiving. I want to welcome you to this program during the season of lights. We've been talking about that. We're in Advent. Coming on Sunday, the 18th, we'll begin Hanukkah, and then on the 25th will be Kwanzaa. Each one a celebration of light and of love. And we've been talking about that throughout this month. This morning, I'm going to begin in a slightly different way because this past week, I had the great privilege of receiving in person an award that was presented to me on November 10th. And one of my dear colleagues from Emblem Health, Kelly McGuire, was very kind to receive the award and then bring it to me here at the house as walking still is not 100% my ability. This event, and therefore I wanted to have an opportunity to express my gratitude to Johns Hopkins and to the William S. Perper Foundation. It is the William S. Perper Foundation who has been the sponsor for the last 10 years of the William S. Perper Symposium. And that has been directed, organized, and led by Dr. Dan Hale from Johns Hopkins. And as this year, the 10th anniversary, as it was being planned, and I have the privilege of sitting on the committee that does that, I was quite overwhelmed when I was informed that I was to receive an honor for our participation. It's been my privilege to serve in many capacities as a keynote speaker on the year that we focused on family caregiving, to be a partner in bringing it one year to the New York Academy of Medicine, for being part of it and on various panels, as well as serving as MC at its new home at the Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church, where Mr. Perper was a member of that congregation. And so I have been privileged to participate with some of the most wonderful, brilliant persons of great accomplishment, and yet persons who were willing to be vulnerable in these symposia by telling their stories of mental illness, of challenges with alcohol and drug abuse. I certainly have been part of that one. And in the world of family caregiving. And each year this has grown and grown. But what has impressed me the most has been the willingness of each of the speakers, noted authors, noted writers, who spoke as wounded healers. And that's been something that's very key in all of our work. So this morning, I want to officially, and with you as the audience, because I couldn't have the audience that was there on November 10th here in New York, as I share with you the absolutely gorgeous award that was presented to me. Now I'm going to put it, I think there it is quite well. And we see it. Johns Hopkins, the William S. Perper Symposium, presented to Reverend Gregory Johnson, November 10th, 2022. And I accept it with endless gratitude. And I thank you for having included me for all these years, as together we have moved forward in sharing the caring. Thank you, and God bless. I'm so grateful to have had that opportunity. Now, I want to continue with our theme. We've been talking about this period of time. We began with Advent at the beginning of December, that in the Christian church. In the secular sense of Christmas, all you have to do is take a look around to see all of the lights, the candles, the lightings of the trees all over America. Light coming into darkness. And that has continued. Now, as I said to you earlier, on Sunday night, on the 18th this year, each year it changes, Hanukkah begins, and that is that time when the people of the Jewish faith, for a period going from the 18th to the 26th, beginning the night of the 18th, they are celebrating Hanukkah, the festival of light, which commemorates the rise of the Second Temple. So it is a time of great accomplishment, of great celebration, and great joy. Furthermore, on the 26th or the 25th of December, as we celebrate Christmas Day, it is also the beginning of Kwanzaa, and the Kinara begins to be lighted. We have the menorah being lighted on Sunday night, and then the Kinara, which is part of the tradition of Kwanzaa. So it is light, 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 from the Advent wreath to the menorah to the Kinara, knowing that no matter how dark things may be, there is light. And also with that, with three groups, very significant groups of people, spending time in prayer, spending time in celebration, spending time in reflection. And as we begin a new calendar year, it's very appropriate. All of us, each and every one, is looking to the light. And what are we creating? An enormous spiritual energy. Now, you've heard me talk of this many times, but I like to repeat it because we can forget. It's very easy to forget amid the issues, the challenges, and certainly for those of us who are family caregivers who can be dealing with some very, very, very difficult situations. We don't want to forget that at this time of year, no matter what our faith tradition has been and our expression of our faith, or lack thereof, whatever it may be, wherever you come in that conundrum, that opportunity, this is an opportunity to grab on to all that spiritual energy. And as I like to say often in the world of recovery of AA, act as if I'm not sure about these mysteries. It's okay. Grab on and act as if, and begin your journey, which is going to be yours, not someone else's. You may be informed by others, but ultimately the definitions are yours. The spirituality and the path becomes yours, to the higher power, to the universe, to the God as you understand that word. And when we do that, that light and flame which was given to us in birth, and no matter what we've done in life, that light is there, waiting to shine forth. And this is a wonderful opportunity to connect with that, to realize we are on a journey from ego to essence. Ego, edging God out. Let's invite that power back in. However you define that, whatever word you use, whatever your prejudice may be against that three-letter word, use another variation. I'm going to read something to you in a moment. But it's the journey from ego to essence. What is essence? It's the spirituality of each of us. And before I share something that I read this week that was so powerful, written by a very dear friend, I want to just touch for one moment because it's been my occasion this week, including just this morning. I learned that a very dear friend had passed away last night. Death is part of life. It doesn't stop just because it's the holidays. And often it can seem even more poignant, of course, because it's the holidays and we want everything to be Hallmark picture perfect. That, my dear friends, is not life. It may be fun to escape for a few moments, but the real life is the life that is led with the direction and the blessing of the power within. And as there is life, so there is death. But that death, for many, is the doorway to a future. And so I want to just share with you a prayer that has meant so much to me. I have been blessed to pray it with many, many people. People who were at that portal of death. Those who were fearing it. Caregivers who were jumping ahead to that point. Remember, we need to stay in today. Ours is to care. And caring means being present for the present reality. I hope this prayer blesses you as it always does me. Join me. O Lord, support us all the day long until the shadows lengthen and the evening comes, and the busy world is hushed, and the fever of life is over, and our work is done. Then in thy mercy grant us a safe lodging and a holy rest, and peace at last. And we pray in all the holy names of God. Amen. This morning, I promised you I had read something very special, and I'm going to share it with you because I think it's a wonderful, wonderful story that captures the gift of the light being given to us in each of the traditions. And as you well know, in all of the work that I'm privileged to do in all of my ministry in the world of family caregiving, I am always, always tied to the structure and the blessing that was mine through recovery as a very grateful recovering alcoholic. And therefore, I work with people to better appreciate and to be comfortable with the word G-O-D. It does not need to be that of childhood. And in fact, I hope it's not, because we need to grow. For too long in theology and religions of all traditions, there's a sense that I learned it as a child and that's it. And then we had confirmation and bar and bat mitzvahs, and then people think they have their PhD in theology. And the truth is, you've only begun the journey. And the gift is, the mystery continues to grow. And then, in that second half of life for many of us, is where we really, really go deeper. For me, that was the gift of hearing the words, God, as you understand that word today. This is Richard Rohr's writing on that very statement. And I'm going to read it to you before I read the item that I wanted to conclude the program with. This is Father Rohr. God for us is my understanding of and code word for the Father. It tells us that reality is foundationally benevolent. Love that. Reality is on our side. It's not a scary universe. It tells us that God, as we understand that word, like a good father, is for us and is protective of us. Now, you can just as easily call God mother or inherent goodness or primal love. Whatever works for you today. And it can change. It can grow. It can evolve. God within us, we were speaking of that a moment ago, is my code word for the Holy Spirit, he writes. The Spirit is that inner aliveness that heals people and awakens them from their wounds. I often call the Spirit an interior homing device. An interior homing device. I love that phrase. For all our stupidity and mistakes, we have a deep internal intuition that we are children of the divine, children of God. It's called the divine indwelling. Now, with that as a preface, I'm going to conclude with a marvelous story that a friend of mine shared. Charles West, a brilliant teacher, a brilliant scholar, a faithful minister, and a person whose life in recovery and his brilliant work with Marianne, now I'm drawing a blank, Marianne Williamson, I'm all right, is incredible. And this is a story he shares with us. I was at Target and heard a loud crash and something shattering. Being curious, I walked toward the sound and saw some people whispering and looking back to the end of the next aisle. When I walked down the aisle, I saw an older lady had hit a shelf and many things had fallen to the ground and broken. She was kneeling on the floor, embarrassed, frantically trying to clean up. I felt so bad for her. Everyone was just standing there staring at her, so I went and kneeled down beside her and told her not to worry and started helping her. And I love this words. I started helping her pick up the broken pieces. After about a minute, the store manager came and knelt beside us and said, "Leave it, we will clean this up." The lady, totally embarrassed, said, "I need to pay for all of this." The manager smiled, helped her to her feet and said, "No, ma'am, we have insurance for this. You don't have to pay for anything." Now, Chuck goes on. Wherever you are, close your eyes and imagine God, as you understand that word, doing the same for you. Imagine the broken pieces of your mistakes or the pieces of your broken heart from all the blows life has thrown at you. See them all over the floor. And you're trying to collect all of the pieces and fix them. Now imagine God comes and kneels down right beside you, smiles and says to you, "Leave it there. I will clean this up for you." That is so powerful. Leave it all there. I will clean this up for you. He loves you that much and wants to put all those pieces back together if you will let him. With him, we have this insurance, and it's called grace. It's free. All you have to do is ask him to forgive you, help you, and to heal you. He's faithful, I promise. Thank you, Charles, and thank you for joining me today. And as we say always, onward in love and caregiving. Namaste. God bless, and I will see you real soon. Have a wonderful week. God bless.